Welcome back to the Fourth and Gold podcast. Here we are for our last division preview of the NFC South. It is quite an interesting division, Paul. So, as always, let's have a look at what Vegas thinks of this division, and we'll take a quick snap reaction to what they're thinking, and then we will deep dive into each of these teams. So I'm going to read it out. Probably by no surprise, the Buccaneers are the favourites. Even money. Their win total is 9.5. You've then got the Falcons as the second favourite, 2-1. Their win total is 7.5. Third, again, probably no surprise here, is the Panthers, 4-1, and their win total is 6.5. And bringing up the rear, it is the Saints, 13-1, and their win total is 5.5. And I've got to say, I'm struggling to see how they get to 5.5.
Yeah, snap reaction. I like advanced disclosure. Like, we don't look at the bet. Well, Jay's he's got the betting market up, but I have not looked at the NFC South. But if I was pricing it in my head, I'm making more of a gap between the Saints and the rest. Who's the current quarterback for the New Orleans Saints? And
That's the question.
what's the best possible outcome for Spencer Rattler? Would be the worst starting quarterback in the NFL. Tyler Shuck, second round quarterback. According to a lot of people, no, they think they're crazy. So if you've got potentially the worst quarterback situation in the NFL, 5.5 wins, and you're only a win worse than the Panthers, who potentially have discovered their quarterback, I don't know. Not for me. Not for me, anyway. And the Bucs, yeah, almost nailed on 9.5. They could be 9-8. They could be 10-7. They're probably not going to be 12-5 or better. And they're probably not going to be 7-10 or worse. They're just going to be in that range. And it just depends how many Baker streaks you get in one direction compared to the other direction. So, but for me, the really interesting team in this division is the Atlanta Falcons. And what are the Falcons going to be well, do we call it the rookie? Yeah, the rookie year, add on a few starts of Michael Penix. He's an older quarterback. I think he stayed a long time in college.
I think you're right there.
Yeah, national championship quarter. Well, he reached the national championship game with Washington. Wasn't expected to do that. Probably the best running game in this division. The best two running backs in this division. The best running back by committee in this division. And two edge rushers that they've drafted this year. They paid a price to do it, but they're on the roster. So
they've made big moves. Yeah.
Yeah, they have. They
are
are
important positions. So I think that the Bucs at evens, unlike when we were looking at the Texans, where we're sort of looking at the Texans at evens thinking easy money.
Yeah.
The Buccaneers, I think, is a fair evens. Like, they are the favourites, but not overwhelmingly because of the intrigue with the Falcons.
Yeah, and you could make an argument for the Panthers as well.
Yeah.
It's a big improvement, and I know they didn't pull it off, but they nearly beat the Eagles in December. Very nearly. They ran them close. And this was the Eagles in December, not at the very start of their season when they were rolling the Eagles. So yeah, this division, and you're totally right. You hit it right on the head with this. not comfortable making the argument in the Jaguars or the Colts in the South, but in this, in the National Football Conference South, I could make an argument for three teams. Could.
I agree.
Yeah. So yeah, even money. No, there'd be better ways to bet on the Buck.
Yeah,
There'd
for
be better
sure.
bet on the Bucks for sure. Than
So we're going to get into the detail of each of these teams because I think it is quite an interesting division. But the usual litmus test. Let's take a little look at the talent in the division with a non-quarterback draft of the NFC South. I'm going to start us off. A few weeks ago, when we looked at the top 10 running back landscape, I can't believe we actually left this guy off. Like, between the two of us, that is a surprise. But I'm going to select Bijan Robinson. The way that this guy cuts is insane. And we have not seen the best of him yet. And he had an amazing year last year. When you look at the production, I still think that there's plenty more to see. I think in terms of top level speed, sometimes that's probably the part where when he makes the opening, he can't always take it to the house. But I mean, in short spaces, this guy will make you look silly. So first pick for me, Bijan Robinson.
So I'm going to take this player because I think you're going to take him next. So I'm going to get in there first. I'm going to take Jesse Bates, the safety for the Falcons. He just makes a lot of plays, and the when a player leaves a team in free agency, you can assess their talent by or how productive they are by the improvement of the team he arrives to and the difference on the team that he left. So he left the Bengals, and typical Bengal style, they thought, yeah, we can replace this guy in the draft. We don't want to pay him. He made a lot of turnover-worthy plays with the Falcons, and the Bengals possibly had the worst defense in the NFL. And they found out that they could not replace Jesse Bates. You need somebody back there, at least for organization. So yeah, I take Jesse Bates.
Okay, good pick. All right, next, I'm going to go with Mr. Consistent, the big body receiver that is Mike Evans. Mr. What is it now? 11 1,000 receiving yard seasons in a row. He's coming for the GOAT's record in that category. But Mike Evans, he's what I said, just pure consistency, Mr. Reliable, and he makes huge plays. Don't get it twisted. This isn't just a Mr. Reliable, efficient. Nah, he makes big plays. So easy decision to draft Mike Evans.
I had to look it up. His over-under receiving yards this season is 950.
Ooh.
So, I
He
mean,
had to force it. They had to force it last year. He was on
yeah,
like 980 or 995, I think, and they had to force it with like the final play of the season.
yeah. And Baker had a crazy year. I think
Yes.
I can't. It was over 4,000 yards. I know that, but in typical Baker style, it was a load of touchdowns and a lot of interceptions as well. So it's just in what in what combination do they arrive in each game?
Yeah.
That's going to be with the Bucks. I'm going to take the Tampa Bay Bucks tackle Tristan Wirfs.
Ooh, nice.
He's one of the best offensive linemen in the NFL, and we will see how they cope without him. He is expected to miss the first 4 weeks of this regular season. And yeah, he's just really, really good. So Slow and steady, I'll take an offensive tackle.
I was worried that you were going to take my next pick, who is also in the trenches, but on the other side of the ball. I'm going to take probably the best run stopper in the NFL in Vita Vea. There is a reason why the Bucks are consistently top five in run defense. It's this guy. When he's not there, when he's there and he's not there, there's a big difference. So yeah, I will take Vita Vea.
So many different ways I can go with this now. Um, Nobody on the Panthers. Nobody on the I was thinking Derek Brown from the Panthers, but that doesn't do enough. He's a good player in terms of name, but doesn't do enough.
They got a running back.
Chuba Hubbard, seriously, after 1 year. No, you can't give it to him after 1 year. You've taken Bijan. Uh, on the Bucks, yeah, Evans and Wirfs are the two best players. Could take good old Levante David just for like loyal,
Legacy pick.
yeah, a loyalty pick, but it's not fantasy football. Uh, I will take with my final pick. I'll take AJ Terrell of the Falcons, the corner. He's the problem the Falcons have had is to pair somebody with Terrell on the outside. And they think they found somebody in Mike Hughes, good enough not to get picked on constantly because the guy on the other side is really, really going to trouble your wide receiver. So, yeah, in a division I don't think is top tier in terms of they just roll off. I'll take a solid corner. I'll take AJ Terrell.
Okay. So if we look at the teams now, should we start with the Bucks being the favorites?
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that now believe the Bucks are like a legitimate NFC contender. And when I look at Baker's journey over the last few years, I don't want to take anything away from him because he's done really well. Like to where he's got to now, he's found consistency, maturity, and he's producing at a high level. But I want to throw the challenge flag. I do not see this team as an NFC contender. I'm sorry.
Well, I've heard the recent argument with the Bucks, and it must be coming from Tampa Bay Bucks world fandom, is well, last year we beat the Eagles and the Lions. Who did that? Yeah, you beat the Eagles and the Lions, and you still only went 10-7. So, and you didn't beat anybody in the playoffs. And it only counts in January. Only really counts in January. So with the Bucks, they're consistent. You know that they're going to be in that window, like 9, 10, 11 wins. It's can they win 2 consecutive playoff games against teams of the caliber potentially of Philadelphia, Detroit, the Rams, if the Niners get themselves together? Like, I'd give the Bucks a chance in one game, but to win two and then to beat the winners of the AFC in the Super Bowl, I think that's a lot. And it also goes against most of Baker's career. For him to have that many consistent games in a row, and I did pay attention to Baker because he was in my division for a few years, and he not gonna lie, he worried me, concerned me in a lot of moments, but not consistently over an extended period. Or just yeah, I mean, they made it they made it to the it was
Wild card.
well, they beat the Steelers in the wild card. I think
Oh, the Browns. Yeah, yeah.
yeah. Um,
And
but
they
then
gave the Chiefs everything they could because Mahomes went out for a little while in that game.
yeah, it was within a possession. I remember at the end, and the Chiefs ran 4th and 1, and they ran an Andy Reid special
Yeah.
trick just to get the yard to knock out the Browns. But yeah, I love Baker. He's a competitor, but yeah, with the Bucks, it's the question for me is, can they take the next step? Can the drafting of the receiver Ogbuka,
Hmm.
can he take them to the next level? Is that them just getting younger? Are they concerned about Godwin and his health coming into this year? And Mike
They,
Evans aging, still consistent as we know,
yeah.
another odd season, but are
They,
they?
they've got four receivers now, when you think about it. They've got Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, the elder statesman of the team. They've got McMillan, who played quite a good role while Godwin was injured.
Yeah,
Now they've got the Booker. I must admit, I don't know if they've got my guy who they drafted in round 7, um, Tez Johnson, their speed demon. I hope he's made the team. I don't know, or maybe it's not cut day yet. Um, but you look at that mix and you say that's better, a lot better than average, like in terms of depth as well. I'm not
yeah,
saying that they've got a Jamar Chase on there, but in terms of depth, that's a lot of weapons. We're not even looking at tight end from running back yet.
yeah. They're a good team all around. On the defense too. No, Winfield Jr. at safety is a good player. Like Vita Vea, as you said, right in the middle. Levante David's still going. Like they're above average. Like they're a good team, but good teams very rarely win Super Bowls. Good teams win divisions, but this
Yeah.
division is probably a little bit better than it has been. So can they win it again? And that's why you brought up an excellent point. I think even money is a. I wouldn't be comfortable. If you gave me a free bet in this division, I'm not putting it on evens on the Bucks. I'd want not just to double my money. I'd want to be a bit braver.
Yeah, for sure. And it's one of those, isn't it? When you look at the track record, they nearly beat the Lions in the playoffs. They nearly beat the Commanders last year in the playoffs. It's like, can they take that next step where they're no longer the nearly team? And I haven't seen enough yet to believe that they can do that. Maybe this will be the year, because I mean, you look at, like we've just looked at, the receivers. That is a deep. Um, that's a deep unit. They've got the two running backs in Bucky Irvin and Rashad White. Otton, the tight end, was called upon during a lot of injuries last year, and he became like a focal point for a few games there where he had to be. So there's plenty of weapons. I think it's just consistency, because we'll see them beat pretty much any team, and we'll see them lose to pretty much any team on any given day. So they've got to find that consistency, I think, where we can really take them seriously as a contender. But as of right now, as you said, good teams win divisions, but not conferences. And that's where I think they are.
Yeah, could you? I could definitely. I've just had a thought to fast forward through the regular season, wild card weekend. The Bucks will be hosting a playoff game, and the Texans will be hosting a playoff game, and they'll both be the 4 seed. I'm just thinking, like, what is it with the South division in both conferences? They'll
Yeah,
win their division, probably win their division. I'm much more confident in the Texans to win their division than the Bucks, but they'll be
yeah,
the playoff game, and they'll be like the joke with the Texans. They're always the early game on the Saturday. Wildcard weekend. Oh, that's a Texan slot. The early game that doesn't get the coverage that the later game is going to get.
yeah.
But the Bucks need to turn it around because even thinking like they've lost to Dak Prescott in the playoffs. You remember, like a couple of years ago, the Cowboys went in there.
Tom Brady, yeah.
Yeah, and so since the Super Bowl, the Bucks have just been a consistent, but consistent isn't enough to win a Super Bowl. Consistent's good, you know. A lot of people would love to, Cleveland would love to be consistently something, but consistently good. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know with the Bucks. Can they make a step? Have they done enough in the off season? I don't know. I think there's more interesting stories with the other teams than the Bucks
Yeah.
for sure.
Well, let's look at a team that has made a lot of moves this offseason, which is the Falcons. And yeah, like we got a glimpse into the world of Michael Penix last year. And I remember watching him, I think it was in Washington, game on the line in his first start. And he had a game tying drive. And I thought, okay, like he's got something about him. His throwing motion is interesting. It's very tight. Like he's very controlled with it. This isn't like Mahomes just let it loose, natural talent. It's very sort of close to the shoulder, like a bit different, I'd say. But he's got a strong arm, and I think we saw up and down, and you're going to get that for a few games. So this is the real test this year, like seeing a full season. As you said, this is basically his rookie year because he's had the full training camp. This is his team now.
Yeah.
It's probably worked out pretty well that he got that stint of games, as a taste of it. Now he can go into this season not fresh out of water. Like he knows he's seen some things and he's got a bit of information now. But when you look at the changes they've made, like I'm really intrigued with this defense. As you said, they've made two very significant picks at edge. And they even picked up Leonard Floyd, who I'm still annoyed the 49ers cut him. He
Yeah.
wasn't expensive. He's productive speed rusher. So they've added effectively three new players to their pass rush. I'm intrigued.
Yeah, so this division, it's funny how the draft goes, I mean, the draft obviously goes without saying. Like the draft shapes every single division, but particularly in this division, in mock drafts, the Panthers were going to take Jalon Walker. It's nailed on. The Panthers Jalon Walker because they've got a terrible pass rush. And oh yeah, they need to take this guy who's played this exact role that they need at Georgia. Like it's a plug and play. There you go. There's your pass rush sorted. Freak athlete, right. And the Panthers go completely off schedule and go and take a wide receiver ahead of the Falcons. So now the Falcons are benefiting from the Panthers not taking the player that they were supposed to according to the talking heads, but they should know better. But will the Panthers, who will come out better in that particular sliding doors moment? The Panthers, the Falcons. And just over a year ago now, the Falcons were being called completely out of their freaking mind for taking Penix when they've just paid Kirk Cousins. They didn't predict Cousins was going to get hurt and not be able to move in the pocket. But that's exactly what happened, and that was the risk that they took. I don't know, like if they were going to take a quarterback, why pay Cousins? Well, they had already paid Cousins, and then were they not expecting Penix to fall to them? Thinking
Could
back,
be.
I don't
Yeah.
think Penix was. It was pick 8, I believe. Yeah, it was pick 8. It was high up in the draft, and
Was pick 8. So he was the fourth quarterback taken at that point.
he was taken ahead of Bo Nix.
So you had Caleb, Jaden
I'm
Daniels,
sure that's right.
Drake May, and then Penix.
Yeah, I believe so.
Wow. What a year.
Because
I think it worked out though, because, you know, they got criticized, but look how it turned out. Kirk Cousins, as you said, got hurt and then couldn't play. Well, if they didn't have Penix, what's your situation?
well, you're back to where's Desmond Ridder? I don't think he's. I, I mean, I had the. I remember watching him in London. Oh man, this this is painful for Drake London and the rest of the Falcons skill position players. Like this is not an NFL starting quarterback.
Yeah.
But yeah, that sliding doors moment. How's that going to look in a couple of years' time? The Falcons decide to take that gamble and take Penix when they've got Cousins on that roster. And the Panthers pass on Jalon Walker and take McMillan. Supposed to be the best, or at least the best 2 or 3 receivers in this draft. Obviously, include Travis Hunter in that conversation. But yeah, McMillan to give Bryce Young a weapon, another weapon to supplement with Leggett, who hasn't lived up to what he was supposed to be so far. But then if you add McMillan, can McMillan take some of the pressure off Leggett? Can they work together and supplement, good old Adam Thielen, who's still around? And I'll stand by what I said. I think it was this time last year. I said, if Adam Thielen is your number 1 receiver, you're in big trouble. And that came true. But he had a good season. It's just, he's not a number 1. But if Adam
He's
Thielen
not a number 1. Yeah.
is suddenly your supplementary receiver to complement those guys, then now you're talking. With the running game, they've got a good O-line.
I seem to recall us saying a lot last year they couldn't stop the run. So improvements on offense, I look at their defense and you could call me a casual, but I'm struggling to see who are the difference makers here.
Yeah, they made a big play. Do you remember they were big in for Milton Williams from the Eagles, but
yes,
the Patriots just had too much money on their hands, had to spend it some way, somehow. And yeah,
and that's why it makes it more perplexing that they would pass on Jalon Walker then, because I don't think there's no smoke without fire unless all analysts were just wrong. But often I feel like the analysts just kind of echo what they're being told. So unless it was a smokescreen and they just wanted McMillan all the way and they played the game and said, yeah, we want Jalon Walker, not really. It'll be interesting to see what their defense does, because it's like they've They've missed out on Walker. As you said, it's a plus minus in the division. The Falcons have picked him up. And then the Falcons decided to make a quarterback like trade for the other rusher, James Pearce. Now, we're going to see if that works out because both of these teams were lacking on defense. One of them, it feels like, has addressed to some degree, or at least attempted to address the defense. I'm not so sure on the Panthers.
Yeah, I think the Panthers seem to me to have focused more on let's see who Bryce Young is.
Fair.
They improved their offensive line before getting Bryce Young, and now they've added a weapon to Bryce Young. So he's going to be protected in the pocket, which is quite important when you're 5'10". And they've added a receiver on the outside, and they just hope that Bryce Young can continue to play with confidence because he didn't seem to have any confidence when he first entered the NFL. But yeah, it's yeah, yeah, it's too small a sample size to see because we haven't got a body of work from Bryce Young. We've just got he was terrible, suddenly followed by oh there he is, the first overall pick potentially. Like, oh okay, because do you remember the conversations that we were having with Bryce Young and CJ Stroud?
Yeah. And at the time, you might remember, I was very low on Bryce Young coming into the NFL because my thought process was he's just another typical Alabama quarterback where you play quarterback at Alabama in those days, and I've got a bunch of superstars around me, and the defense is suffocating. So all I have to do is throw a few slants here, a few drags there. It's all set up. We're going to run the ball. We're going to play defense. And that's why I sort of looked at it. You got your Mac Joneses, your Tuas, to some degree, Jalen Hurts, Bryce Young. They all kind of came in with the same issues.
Yeah.
And I was impressed. As you said, it is a small sample size, but I was impressed with what I saw when Bryce Young came back into the team last year. Yeah, like I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah, I don't know. I think the Panthers don't have as talented a roster as the Falcons.
Yeah.
And I think the upside of Penix could be higher than Bryce Young.
Yes.
Could be. And the Falcons, credit to them, they've just taken swings. I mean, you're wearing Julio's jersey, great player, future Hall of Famer. But that reminds me of like the Falcons making a crazy trade to go up and take Julio back in those days. And that turned out well for them. And then last year, yeah, Kirk Cousins didn't work out well, but you've got to admire the aggressiveness. Like they've made a move. They've made a move, and they didn't know that Kirk Cousins was going to get hurt. And they got themselves an insurance policy. And all these people saying, no, they're crazy, like 2 quarterbacks. Yeah, this is the NFL. Like things happen. People get hurt. It's a crazy physical game. And now, and this year they've done it again. They've made another either crazy or genius move. We'll see. But they make moves. And they don't make moves, I heard my friend Colin Coward, because he seems to love like banging on the Steelers, going, the Steelers are making moves to make moves. Yeah, well, maybe they could be argued to be sideways to moves. I'd say they're probably slight improvements, but the Falcons are making moves to make big moves. They are big, big swings.
Mm.
Potentially, yeah, potentially like franchise altering either way.
Because a lot of people, like Jalon Walker, was polarizing, but there's a lot of people that feel like he's the best edge in the draft outside of Abdul Khan.
Yeah.
So I'm interested to see it. And then I think James Pearce comes from Texas.
Yep.
So you then throw in the veteran presence of Floyd. Let's see. Let's see what, because if they get production out of those three, their defense will look completely different.
Yeah, it's just interesting. It's going to be interesting, the Falcons.
Do you
First
think
of
they
all,
should have moved Cousins though, or do you think that's an insurance policy in case Penix has a blip?
what were they going to get? They weren't going to get much for it.
Just to move, the money off the cap. Because that's an expensive backup.
Yeah, but by the time I don't know the cap situation. I think didn't they miss the deadline and he got another little bit of change guaranteed.
Another 10, yeah.
I mean, 10 million doesn't make or break your season. No trade clause.
Ah. Checkmate. Fair enough. Fair enough.
And what were they really going to get? So I think there's a couple of things, we don't know.
It's a good insurance policy nonetheless.
Yeah, we do know.
Quarterback.
We do know for sure that he has a no trade clause. And
Okay.
the limited that I did watch of Kirk Cousins with the quarterback series on Netflix, he did seem to be very comfortable in his home environment.
Football is not his top priority anymore, is what I took from it. Like, yeah, he likes playing. Yeah, he wants to play, but I don't see the desire. To me, it's not really there anymore.
Yeah, but he's made a very good career out of football. Third round draft pick by then the Redskins, and won his way to the starting gig. They franchised him. They franchised him again. They knew they couldn't. He knew, and they knew that they couldn't. They couldn't do it again. So, engineered his move to the Vikings.
Mm-hmm.
Got paid with the Vikings. Ran his contract down. Got paid again by the Vikings, and then got paid big money by the Falcons. This guy's been paid. If you think of the franchise number back then, he's got 5 big paydays.
Yeah.
2
so fair play.
Yeah. And yeah, he's had his moments for sure, Kirk Cousins. But considering the modern NFL and how you now require your quarterback to be a bit of an athlete, Kirk Cousins is not an elite athlete at the position of quarterback. But he does have a good arm, or did have a good arm. We don't know.
It was year one from coming back from an Achilles tear as well.
Yeah. Yeah. And we saw that with Rodgers as well, especially like in the older bodies. It's hard to, it's got to be hard to have confidence. You've got to have a secure plant foot, haven't you? And you've got to be able to like push, have leverage to make those throws. And
then he hurt his shoulder. So, I think that, and, God forbid this were to happen, but if Penix was to get injured, they have a shot still with a healthier Kirk Cousins, more so than most teams with their backups. Probably not far, but he at least will give them a shot.
Yeah, well, at least they look into the future. They've made the gamble. They've taken the gamble with Penix. They took the gamble with Julio. That paid off. They taken the gamble with Penix. They're hoping that pays off. They've taken the gamble this year with Pearce, trading up to get Pearce late in the first round. That will either age very badly or that will be a spectacular trade. We don't know because they are lottery picks at this point.
Yeah. But just going back to their offense, I mean, we're looking at this group, and it's one of those groups where we're like, this group could be amazing. And you look around and you say, Bijan Robinson, to me, amazing. Like he is a superstar.
Yeah.
And to back him up, Al Jair is one of the better, second running backs, if you like. He's probably good enough to be the lead back on some teams.
Mm.
Then you look at receiver and you say, Drake London. Okay, I'm not going to go as far as superstar, but he's had some big games. Like, he's clearly a number one for them. And behind him, Darnell Mooney was a very good pickup, I think, as a supporting receiver.
Mm.
And then we come to the big question mark that has been a cloud over this organization. Are we ever going to see Kyle Pitts break out? This is like attempt number 4. He had, I think, 1,000 yards in year 1, but it was kind of a like underwhelming. I don't want to say that, but it's not like we suddenly thought, oh well, this guy's clearly one of the top 5 tight ends in the league. He's one of those where, is it just all smoke and mirrors? Like, when you see him and he makes a big play, you're sort of saying, well, yeah, look at this athlete, if you like. Like, he should be freakishly good.
Yeah.
But we're not seeing it. Like, at first you're sort of scratching your head saying, well, are they not targeting him? Is there a reason they're not targeting him? I don't know. But he's running out of time on this contract.
Kyle Pitts, to me, is the reason why I don't go crazy for first round draft picks, because Kyle Pitts should be, at least in terms of measurables, like, I'm sure at the combine he completely tore it up if he attended. Yeah. Maybe he was a baller and he skipped the combine. But whatever he posted at his pro day, he should be, at least in terms of an athlete, one of the very best tight ends in the NFL. But he hasn't put it together consistently on the field. But still, if we took away his play, took away his production so far, and he was to enter the draft again, he'd get drafted in the first round again. And everybody would be going crazy about, oh my God, we drafted this tight end. Like, have you seen he runs like a 4.4? He's 220. He's 6'4". He's got this vertical. Like, yeah. But
he should be taking over games.
Yeah,
right?
He should be. And who's gonna post better numbers at the combine when they were coming out of the draft? Travis Kelce or Kyle Pitts? Guarantee you, Kyle Pitts would tear apart Travis Kelce in almost everything. Possibly not bench, but bone drill. Like, he's just a freak athlete, but there's more to the game, and that's why they are lottery picks. He is, to me, the problem with going crazy about draft picks.
And that was a high draft pick as well.
Yeah, a very high. I think it was 4.
Top 5, yeah.
Yeah, I think it was crazy, like 4, yeah. For a tight end as well. It's crazy to take a tight end at 4.
Like, you better be right at 4. And by all accounts, the Falcons were wrong on this one, it seems.
Well, he's on to his second coaching staff, and another starting quarterback. So
Who has been raving about him? So here we go again. Like, will Kyle Pitts break out part four?
yeah, because if he does, like, it's great. They've got a pretty good O line. Penix looked pretty good towards the end. They've got two good running backs. They've got two solid receivers. London could continue to progress, and yeah, it's all there for the Falcons. It is all there. So I think there's more upside with the Falcons on offense than any other team in this division. But that's it.
100%.
But
Yeah.
it's all potential.
I quite like, though, now thinking about it, the 2-1 would speak to me more than the Bucks at evens. The Bucks, as we've said, they're getting a bit older. Yes, they've drafted some new receivers, but it feels like the Falcons are probably at a more peak age now. They're entering sort of those prime years, whereas the Bucks are kind of on the other side now. So I think it's a really interesting division.
Yeah, I'm surprised the Falcons are only 7.5. I thought 8. I thought 8.5 would be the number. So 7.5 to me is surprising.
Because you could very well see them winning 3 or 4, possibly against the Saints and the Panthers,
Yeah,
and splitting with the Bucks.
yeah,
Suddenly, you're already more than halfway there.
yeah. And this division, I think. Let me look it up, but I believe that they have because most divisions they play the same divisions. I think they've got the easier run of the schedule.
Okay, yeah.
I know the Saints. I think it's the Saints. Well, the 49ers have the easiest schedule. But the Saints, because that's the thing. It's not obvious with the Saints. Like, yeah, they're 5.5 wins. Yeah, just hammer away the under. Yeah, but their strength of schedule is terrible.
Makes sense now.
So let's look up the schedule. So uh Panthers or Saints? We'll do Panthers. Or have we covered the Panthers?
We have covered the Panthers, so I thought, well, what do you want to do? Do you want me to do the Panthers, and then you can do the Saints?
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. So you're doing the Panthers win-loss schedule.
Some of this is going to have to be on memory because I don't know. I have
Yeah.
not done the homework that
I'm
I've
sure
usually
I'm sure
done,
no,
but
know that if people aren't seriously like marking them down for us and then gonna post straight away like you said
yeah,
this.
the accountants of our fan base.
Yeah. Okay, the Carolina Panthers, Bryce Young, the new hot quarterback, first overall pick from a couple of years ago, start their season at Jacksonville.
Well, I picked this last week. I said loss.
At the Cardinals.
I'm going to say loss.
Home for Atlanta.
Loss.
Need this. At the Patriots.
I've previously picked this game. Loss.
Home for Miami.
Loss.
You're doing it. Here we go. Home for the Cowboys.
Loss.
0-6. At the Jets.
See, this is the one. Aaron Glenn's Jets could be different, but I'm going to say Jets are still to some degree the Jets. This is a win.
Okay, we're off and running now. And we get Buffalo coming to town. All right. At the Packers.
At the Packers, no way. Loss.
Home for the Saints.
Yeah, this is a win.
At the Falcons.
This is a tricky division. These games are close. They won here last year. I'm going to say win.
Okay. At the Niners.
I've picked this before. Loss.
Home for the Rams.
Loss.
At the Saints.
Superdome. Okay. They actually sweep the Saints. I'll give them that.
Okay. Home for the Buccaneers.
As I said, the Bucks just drop random games. They'll be on a run and bang. So I'll say this is one of those. Win for the Panthers. Upset.
Home for Seattle.
Loss.
At the Buccaneers to round out.
Split. So loss.
Okay. Yep. Same as last year. Sorry, Panthers fans. 5-12.
Freezing cold takes, maybe.
It's not. They're six and a
It's
half.
tough.
The win loss is 6.5. Their point spread is 6.5. Like they're not supposed to be amazing.
No.
All right, so we round out now with the New Orleans Saints and first year head coach Kellen Moore, Spencer Rattler, Tyler Shuck, Taysom Hill. He might as well play quarterback full time. The Saints, all right. I'm not gonna fall into the trap of being totally down on the Saints. The Saints' mistakes, most of them, they have made to arrive at this point. They are at this point, and it's been a culmination of the Drew Brees and kicking the can down the road and the void years and all the salary cap problems that they got themselves into. Add on to that, they made some poor kind of drafts. They've had not great drafts.
I just want to stop you there, Paul, because I just want to say, and this might be a bit of a run, what the fuck have the Saints been doing these last few years with the salary cap? You know, when I get it, with Drew Brees, they went on a 3 or 4 year run at the end there where they legitimately were contenders. So, yeah, let's restructure Cameron Jordan's contract. Let's restructure, the tackles contract. I get it. But when Drew Brees left, that should have been the point where we said, we're in trouble here with the salary cap. Let's take the hit for a year. Let's check our egos at the door. We're going to suck for a year and let's rebuild this. But what did they do? They said, no, we're contenders. We're still contenders in the post-Drew Brees era. Let's restructure Cameron Jordan's contract again and again and again. Like, it's got ridiculous, like to the point where Cameron Jordan, his contract ends this year, and those wonderful voidable years that everyone thinks is manipulating the salary cap. Well, guess what happens at the end of the contract? You get charged with the full amount of the voidable years. And for Cameron Jordan, that's $30 million. Oh, and guess what? We decided to restructure Demario Davis's contract a number of times. So when his contract ends this year, voidable value of $20 million. They are just lucky that Derek Carr retired because, again, they would have been eating another $30 million. Mickey Loomis, I would love to hear his rationale behind this decision making. Sorry, I had to just get that off my chest.
Yeah, because I mean, you know far more about the salary cap, and I know that it gets you heated, the Saints, whenever I bring up the Saints. Because I had heard that the Saints have been, I'm not going to say smart, but they have been more careful recently because they are not taking the full force of the punishment now. Now, when I heard this, I thought, no, take it now. Take it all now because Tyler Shuck is your quarterback or Spencer Rattler. Take it all right now. Demario Davis is old. You already let go of Lattimore. Like the offensive line's getting old. Cameron Jordan's old now. You don't have much talent. Kamara's not elite like maybe he once was. You don't have Sean Payton. You definitely don't have Drew Brees anymore. Like, I think it would be wise to take any hit now. Take the full force of the hit now.
They're acting like they're a Super Bowl contender. You know, yeah, let's just restructure this deal so that we stay competitive for this year. You're not anywhere near that. So what are we doing here?
Yeah. Well, let's have a full look. Do we know the cap numbers of the Saints this year?
Well, the thing is, there's a lot of manipulation with
Of course.
these voidable years. So, for example, Cameron Jordan, he's got like 4 voidable years where, next year it's 18 million and then it drops off from there. But the point is, if Cameron Jordan walks away, they get hit with a 30 million dead cap charge.
Yeah. Okay. So currently, how things are currently, unless I've misread this, let me double check. Yeah. Okay. The Saints are second in the NFL. They're second in the NFL. They're challenging for the title of highest amount of dead cap they're currently paying on this year's salary cap. They are second to which NFL franchise?
Ooh.
I don't think you're going to get this. I think I could give you 5 picks.
This is tricky because I'm thinking like it's got to be someone that has been traded or cut recently
Yeah.
that's, a massive cap charge. Who am I missing? I don't think I'm going to get it. I almost want to say San Francisco, but I don't think it's us.
Okay, I'm giving you 5 picks.
All right, 49ers is my first pick.
You got it. The
Yeah.
49ers have the most dead cap in the NFL at $95.1 million in dead cap this year.
Deebo Samuel is a chunk. Yep. Oh, you're right. Because that's the point. The 49ers this year have done what the Saints should have done many years ago. The 49ers have taken a step back to say, we've paid a lot of guys. Our guys are, getting a bit older. This is a retooling year. We're not contenders. So, why don't we make some decisions now, eat some of the financial, difficulties that we've got for the better, for the long term. So, yeah, Javon Hargrave, you're eating something there. Deebo Samuel, that's got to be about 20 million. Floyd, for example, is probably about 8 million. So a number of these guys that have left, have left their mark. Charvarius Ward, Dre Greenlaw, Hufanga. We've paid these guys. So now we're paying the penalty for them leaving in a year where do the 49ers really think they're Super Bowl contenders? No.
Well, you're topping your NFL champions in dead cap space this year, but you're also third in available cap.
Yeah.
It's a crazy stat to be top of that and then third in two two numbers which contradict each other. I mean,
It's one of those where if we don't use that, we carry it into next year, and that's probably the thinking. You know, we've got younger, we've got rid of some older players. Yes, there's a financial penalty to that. We go again next year, which is what the Saints have hard-headedly not done. How long has Drew Brees? Drew Brees has been retired for what? Well, he's eligible for the Hall of Fame next year. So that shows you how long this franchise has been stubborn for.
Yeah, well, and you know this. Please don't get me fully started on this guy, but I never thought that Derek Carr, if Derek Carr is your potential future at quarterback, then you're not trying to win a title. You're trying to win 10 games maximum.
Maximum.
Derek Carr, he's one of these. He's made probably the most out of his talent. He was the second round draft pick, played for the Raiders, seemed to be a good team guy. But to give him that kind of money, I just thought was crazy. At that point in his career, you knew exactly who he was, and more importantly, who he was not. And you're just prolonging the torture of, right, we need to reset. We've got these older guys. Like Derek Carr, even with those older guys, he was never going to take them the whole way.
No way.
So,
and they could have got out of his contract this year. They could have, and they decided to restructure, I think. And it's only because he's retired that bad decision isn't going to hurt them. Because, again, that was another of many bad decisions.
Yeah. Well, are you in agreement with most of the media that 5.5 wins? Okay, I'll make the alternative argument. I'll make the argument for the Saints not being the worst team in the NFL. It's hard to be the worst team in the NFL because there's 31 other possible options. That's point number one. They do have a good O-line.
They got some receivers.
They've got some receivers, but who's going to get them the ball? But
that's a good question.
I'm not going into the receivers because of the issue that I could see at quarterback. It's the way that I could argue that the Saints won't be terrible, as in picking first overall, is that they could be able to run the ball with this O-line. They do still have some guys, admittedly older on defense, and some, I think Kool-Aid McKinstry could turn into a player at corner. He's got some potential. But
that's the thing. You're not looking at the roster like we were looking at the Cardinals 4 years ago, where, you know, that famous comparison, you know, Alabama could beat this team. Like, I don't think we're looking at the Saints saying there's, you know, such little talent. It's just that what they're doing to pay for this team is strange, because it's not a playoff caliber team, and they've got the mindset as if they're going to the Super Bowl. But if we're just looking at roster alone, I agree. Not terrible. By no means elite or good, but not terrible.
Yeah, run the ball, try and play some defense. You've got a crazy loud stadium.
Yep.
They could sneak their way to 6 wins, and then you've covered your win-loss throughout the season.
I'm thinking, like, this has to be a candidate though for one of the bottom teams. Who else would you see I know we can't go on play. We're going on paper, on roster, which, doesn't tell you the whole story. But looking at the rosters, who do you see as the worst teams? If you had to name three teams.
It depends how much weight you put into the quarterback position.
Yeah, it's massive.
But I think there's a heck of a lot of mid in the NFL now. I think there's a heck of a lot of mid. You can't. That's why the Saints just stand out as wow. They could be the worst team in the NFL.
But we're not looking at 0-6. Oh, sorry, 0-17, for example. Like you said, there's a lot of mid. So if one team is slightly worse than that, they're going to stand out.
Until I see Cam Ward, who Cam Ward is, I have to say the Titans.
Yeah.
I'm going to say the Giants. I was thinking New England, but they have spent some money in free agency. The Giants definitely don't have the worst D-line and pass rush in the NFL. But the rest of the roster, I don't think is great. The Giants seems to be they've got a great D-line and they've got Malik Neighbors.
Yeah.
But then everything else, I don't like.
So it's how much can the D-line carry them, really, is my question.
Yeah.
Because if they're really good, like if they're really, really good, I don't know if they will be, but if they're really, really good, that will help them win some games.
Yeah, I was thinking the Browns, but they actually have some talent. Obviously, they've got Myles Garrett, who's just a difference maker.
Yeah.
The Jags have got some, at least on paper, like our man Kyle Pitts. Like they've got some potential superstars.
And Aaron Glenn with the Jets feels like I don't know. It's the Jets, isn't it? But I think Aaron Glenn is a good character, a good coach. Is he a good head coach in New York Jets territory? He's got a lot to overcome.
But if you'd asked the same question this time last year, I may well have said the Commanders.
Yeah.
So
and the year before, I think I stupidly said the Texans would win 2 games with CJ Stroud in his rookie year. So
right, a couple of years ago, Rob predicted that. I just remember because this was absolutely ridiculous. He went the Packers were going to be 2-14. The Packers are going to be 2-14. That was Jordan Love's rookie year.
Jordan Love's rookie year, yeah.
Well, his third year, but his rookie year.
Yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, that didn't age well.
I think you're right, though. You sort of look around the divisions. It's not like loads of elite, loads of really bad. It's kind of like there's some elite, big group of mid.
Yeah. Yeah, there's quite... I mean, you could, but you have to take... If for example, like, if Tyreek wasn't on the Dolphins, you could say now that the Dolphins are crazy. They go through cycles. They were the worst team in the Flores days. They were trying to tank for Tua. Then they were trying to turn themselves into the best team with all the swings that they were making, and they were signing everybody in free agency. And now they seem to be going back the other way.
Yeah.
But the Dolphins are trying to turn around everything and trying to be tougher with a head coach who's
a finesse, a finesse guy.
Yeah. Seems a bit conflicted in Miami.
So, Paul, shall we find out how many games you think that the Saints are actually going to win?
Okay, let's do it.
Let's do it. Right. Saints win-loss, Paul. The quote-unquote worst team in the NFL has been the message this offseason. Let's find out. home to the Cardinals, season opener in that crazy Superdome.
Loss.
Home to the 49ers.
This is a loss.
At the Seahawks.
Oh, tough. Outdoors. Loss.
At the Bills, we'll move on with that one. Home to the Giants.
Loss.
0-5. Might they be getting nervous at this point? Home to the Patriots.
Yeah, they win.
Okay, we're off the mark. At the Bears.
This is a loss.
Home to the Buccaneers.
This is a game the Bucs can potentially lose the way that Baker is. Yeah, I say the Saints win.
Okay. At the Rams.
Loss.
At the Panthers.
Loss.
Coming off the bye week, home to the Falcons.
Win.
At the Dolphins.
Loss.
That's a classic Dolphins game there. At the Buccaneers.
Loss.
Home to the Panthers.
Win.
Home to the Jets.
Win. Back-to-back wins.
At the Titans.
Loss.
And to round out a miserable season at the Falcons.
It's a loss.
It is 5-12 for the Saints. So they just miss out on their win total.
And I think I was generous with the Saints.
You possibly were as well. We're sort of we're giving you a chance to win here. And
like they split with the Bucs, but they play quite a few, like their road games outdoors.
Cold Bears.
Spencer Rattler outdoors. Like even the Giants, I had them losing to the Giants in the Superdome. That D line against Spencer Rattler. No.
Spencer Rattler hasn't won a game yet, has he?
That
I think he's literally 0-8.
serious?
Yeah. That surprised me when I saw it. But I'm sort of thinking, like, where was the win? Yeah.
It's crazy. That's crazy. Yeah, 5-12 could be 2-15, could be 3-14. I can't really see more than 5 wins though.
Yeah.
But
that's right where they are right now, I think.
yeah. Okay.
All right. So that really completes our review of every division going into the season. It's been fun dissecting these divisions, Paul, looking at every team, looking at the talent levels, think what Vegas thinks has been real interesting. But I think I'm ready for some real football now. So we're not far away.
Yeah, for sure. It's time to get together your fantasy rosters. It's time to start looking at season-long bets.
Oh, yes.
So we'll be coming back in the next couple of weeks to have a look at the betting side of things ahead of this regular season. Just a bit of fun to have a season-long interest. You're gonna probably be involved on a week-to-week basis, but it adds a little bit of juice if you've got something going throughout the season as well. So yeah, we'll be back with some bets. Let us take a little time, digest this, see who gets cut, see who's still on the rosters, and then we'll be back.